We are back with the HubScale podcast. This is our 27th episode featuring Moty Jacobs, the co-founder and CEO of Surf Security, the Zero Trust Enterprise Browser. He's from CISO to CEO. It's great to have you on, Moty.
Thank you very much for having me with you, Elliott.
No problem at all. It'd be great for the listeners to give a quick introduction to yourself.
Yeah, so my name is Moty. I'm living here, and behind me is nice London. I am working in the cybersecurity area as a security expert and practitioner for more than 20 years. You can hear it easily from my accent that I'm originally born in Israel, and we moved here with a family. I am UK talent program. So on this visa platform, exceptional talent for cybersecurity. And I used to work in several companies that got exited as a CISO. And I will be happy to share with you my insights.
Yeah, no, really excited for this. And we've got a lot of great topics to dive through today on the podcast. So really excited to dive into all of these. So I guess you give a brief introduction there, but I think the title of this podcast today is From CISO to CEO. So let's take it back a little bit. So your CISO days, obviously you spent a lot of time, you mentioned there a couple of exits. Just talk me through that journey.
Yeah, so as a security practitioner, more or less in the last 20 years, together me and my peer, let's say our main job is to reduce the attack surface. In order to do your work pretty well, you need to be aware about so many tools, because every time there is vulnerability, there is exploit, there is threats from different, let's say, attack vectors. And as a practitioner, me and my other CISO peers, you need always to be aware about the new tools, about the new vulnerabilities, and about more and more tools to have. And as my previous jobs, we had tons of security tools. Like in one of my job before, we had more than 100 security products and vendors just to have been installed on some systems. And to do your work well and to reduce the attack surface, you as a CISO, especially if you want to get 100% coverage or even 95% coverage, you need to install these tools. So you end up with end users that have more than 20 agents installed on their endpoint or on the laptop. And then come the COVID. So it's even become more, let's say, comprehensive and complex to the user in order to get them access into company resources. And we were thinking that it's always supposed to be like this, that in order to connect to my company assets, first I need to do a VPN, and then I need to do a VDI in some cases not, and then only then I can access the system. And even this doesn't give me all the solution needed. So how can I collapse all the security tools, all the security stack that I have into one single power control tool? And me and my co-founder, Ziv Yankovic, which is leading our R&D team, we're thinking that the browser is this place, because the browser is the most used application today on each computer, on each employee. You can see it here in our office, but also in any other company. They use the browser for email, for surfing the internet, for communicating with their peers, but also to get access to company resources. And because the browser become very important into the day, it's sometimes 100% of consume the working application of the employee day. If we can put the security tools not outside, but inside the browser, part of the processes inside the browser, like Blink and the V8 and the API, and we can put our processes, so we can actually screen what we render and what not. And that gives us a set of features and capabilities that instead of having DLP, CASB, MDM, phishing, access control, secure web gateways, web categorization outside the browser, we can actually have all these features inside the browser. So it works faster than waiting until it comes into the computer. It's actually better from giving a good security. And it's easier and more productive to the end user and to the IT team, that they need to support less issues that coming because of many agents and the correlation between them, and to understand them. One of the things that we are seeing that in many places we are gradually replacing existing security tools, because if the company use most of the time as the main application, the browser, they just don't need them. They can actually stay with one or two solutions and go from this. And we want to be the solution. We want to be this solution provider, because again, browser is more important than operating system in some of the cases. Browser have these capabilities. And we are bringing this into action in many organizations, especially organizations that are technology oriented, especially organizations that are regulated and security is important for them.
Yeah. No, I think it's
this is just a brief about Surf Solution and about what we did. Maybe I can share with you how we go into this idea.
Yeah.
So me and Ziv used to work in a previous financial services company. And after the company got acquired, we were needed to use a VDI solution by one of the biggest vendor in the world. And we had a lot of feedback from employees that accessing is very slow to SaaS services like Workday or Salesforce. And it used to be accessed super fast. You know, they just needed to connect into VPN. And now they have, in addition to the VPN, they have a VDI solution. So they need to install 2 agents. And then the network was not direct. It was done through proxies. It was done through VDI solution or RBI solution. And we were thinking, does it really supposed to be like this? Maybe we can, you know, change some stuff at the source, at the endpoint. And then we don't need all these gateways. We don't need all these servers, and we don't need any additional proxies. And because we already use as a part of our solution, which was used for other products, the Chromium as the basic platform, it's an open source. We were actually installing it and build on top of it our solution. And we know exactly these points inside Chromium that we can enter our processes without creating any latency to the end user. And then we ask, I have a group here in the UK called Cyber Kingdom. It's a group of CISOs. I did some market validation together with them. And as a CISO, which I was dreaming about a solution like this. I was dreaming about a solution that can put everything into one place, one single tool. And I received from them also this feedback, and also why nobody was thinking about this before. And we started with mainly use case of replacing VDI. Now we are more on replacing VPN. We have some DLP capabilities. But one thing we always keep on top, and this is something that for me as a CISO was listening to the user, we want that the user will feel comfortable with the solution. So we are GDPR compliant. We are not spying over the user. We are not tracking all the user activity. We are actually giving the user the capability to access company resources directly from the browser. While if you go to any private website, we are not tracking him. We are not spying him. We're not transferring this information. Simply because we were built privacy first from the beginning.
Yeah, I think that's pretty awesome. I think for me, I speak to a lot of founders, right? And the coolest stories are when the problem is faced in a previous life, and then they go and create a business off the back of it. I think it's absolutely awesome, Moty. And so just tell me a little bit about your key differentiators from the other competitors in the market.
So our main focus was about creating a zero trust, a really zero trust. And we wanted to create a tool that can, you know, you have a set of capabilities that you can choose. You can start with, for example, just DLP capabilities or masking PII. And then you can move on in ensuring specific access that only for specific application. You can do access control, etc. Our main target was how we can actually create this zero trust. That means how we can actually create a conditional access that the access to company resources and company assets will be in addition to an SSO, will be only from our browser. And we were looking who is the leader in the identity management space, and this is Okta. And I'm happy that Okta Ventures invested in us, and we created this kind of partnership that we are working together so we can actually deliver a real zero trust access to Okta users, but not only Okta users, for everyone that use any IDM tool, and allow them access to their SSO or to existing tools and application or website directly from our browser. We also support on-prem access. So that means if you have servers in your native data center or use your own cloud, we can also support directly access from the browser. And this is just one of the capabilities and differentiators that we have in this world. And again, everyone are very good, and our competitors are doing also very good work.
Yeah. No, I think it's amazing. I think the journey that you've been on so far is really, really cool. And I can kind of guess moving into the next topic pretty well, Moty, the journey from a CISO to a CEO. And obviously, you can imagine the amount of ideas CISOs actually have on a day-to-day basis, but actually implementing that process and going and taking the journey and the step. So tell me about that journey from the CISO to the CEO.
Yeah, so when you are a CISO, you mainly need to focus only on one thing. Yeah, it's reducing the attack surface, and then you can actually put it into a program, and then you just need to track the problem and find a solution in order to reduce the attack surface. So CISO work is, I don't want to say it's not complex, but it's more technical work. You need to evaluate solution to see what coverage it gives, you need to see the efficiency of the solution, and then you need to present it to the board or to your managers in order to give the company the peace of mind or to evaluate the risk that they are taking care of or accepting as the manager. Being a CEO, especially of a startup, that's first opened me to the whole area of go-to-market. How you can actually tell the world, hey, I have a very amazing good solution. And so this is, for example, one of the things that I saw that always new to me, and how to work with sales, how you generate sales, things related to go-to-market and managing the budget, raising money from VCs, and knowing to work, hiring people, and that they are not technical, that they come from go-to-market and business side. That's always interesting part, and this is, I think, the main change that take you from being a technical position into a position that is also technical. Most of our employees are coders, yeah. But how you deliver a good product, but you can also tell the world, hey, I have a good product, and I want you to use it, and I want you to try to give it a try. And it's something that can save you money, save you time, make your company more productive, and in some cases make the CISO that I was there just 2 years ago, make them a hero in the company, just with one tool.
Yeah, and I think that's a credible story as well. Obviously, when reaching out to CISOs in that early stage as well, it's incredible stories to go back to the CISOs and go, "Hey, look, I've solved a problem. Here's the solution," and then make everybody the heroes of the company, which is awesome. So I guess that just for the listeners out there, or maybe our CISOs right now, or maybe are thinking about taking that leap, what kind of the biggest challenges you faced so far? I know you mentioned there about kind of the go-to-market and the hiring things, but what's the biggest challenges you faced?
Oh, so we face a lot of challenges, like everything that is coming new, and it's good that we face these challenges. But I think that hiring the right people or contracting with the right people, that's things that everyone that's thinking about moving from being a CISO or a technical position, becoming a founder of a startup, need to think about. I think that also approaching people that used to work together with you and ask them for feedback about your presentation, or ask them feedback about the product, or ask them feedback about the feature. That's also something that they need to get ready about this. We were lucky because of our network of CISO, and people were very happy to give us the feedback and second opinion about things we saw. some of this thing that I saw as a financial services CISO and background in the telco, in the retail industry, friends, and we got feedback from the market. Hey, you might want to do it like this. So, for example, we were thinking at the start to make a solution that is based on extension, and we still have it in one of our use case, but we saw that people actually want to have a full capabilities, and this thing we can only deliver with a browser. So, and again, thanks to the open source that exists in Chromium, we succeed to build a whole solution that is based and give full delivery. And we are not dependent on the browser company that tomorrow they will change the manifest and we close us access to their extension.
Yeah. No, I bet it's been really, really helpful having that network of CISOs as well that you shared earlier. But that's been an awesome ride and getting the feedback from everybody as well. And one thing you mentioned there about hiring, of course, this is my game, hiring. I live and breathe it every single day, and I always love asking this question, Moty. But what is your kind of philosophy when hiring with Surf?
So I saw it in our previous companies, if it was in DMV or in Georgia, that was later bought by Telefonica, or it was in X, that was later bought by CME. And I think that the hiring policy that will, from my position, and this is something we also put into Surf Security today, is always hire people that are better than you. And after you hire people that are better than you, then you need to empower them and let them, do what they know they can do. So, for example, if they hire someone for a technical position, let him flourish in this area. In some cases, I want to hire people that have entrepreneurship mindset. Yeah. I wanted to become entrepreneur in their own position. So if someone doing operation or marketing operation or doing sales or doing programming or coding, and he's responsible, for example, for a specific part of our code base, I want them to become entrepreneur and think like entrepreneur in their own area. So they don't need to ask us about, permission. They don't need to ask us about, I want to do this. Let them decide themselves, because probably they know to do it better than us, the founders. And I want to give them, the freedom to unlock their capabilities. So this is how, in previous company, we succeed to build a great product, and we succeed to overtake the market. This is how you build a great company, and this is how we build Surf Security. We were actually taking all of this, experience about building great teams and creating a very strong A team and delivering a very good product. Less about the buzz, less about, creating the marketing buzz, but also creating good product technically that end users will love, but also CISOs. So we always put in the mindset at least 3 or 4, let's say, I will call it the receivers, like the CIO, the CISOs, and the end user. We can create a product that they love.
Yeah, I think it's awesome. And obviously, some of the hires you've made are brilliant. Steve, obviously in the US, and a couple of guys in the UK. They're just awesome hires, and it comes back to that position. I mean, I've been doing this for a while, and the kind of the personality and the person you need in a startup like Surf. You need somebody who really understands that entrepreneurial mindset, the curiosity, everything along those lines as well, which was absolutely awesome. So I guess in terms of the journey you've had so far, in terms of actually locating that talent, has it been easy? Has it been hard? What's it been like?
So we had a list of friends like yourself, but we have also a list of friends that when we had a position, we were lucky to have several good candidates for it. And again, then we were looking at the people that have this entrepreneurship mindset, people that can learn by themselves, and people that are experts in this field. So we are hiring very carefully. So we have sometimes took us like at least 3 months to get the right person on board. But we want to make sure that we are hiring the right person, like I told you before. Like we are hiring a person that have these capabilities to take his domain and be entrepreneur in this domain, and then he will help us to deliver a product or sales better.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. And I saw some of the new hires in action at RSA, taking control of the stand, and most people on the stage as well, watching as well when he was kind of presenting surf. So no, it's it's awesome. It's awesome what you've done so far in the hiring.
Thank you. I'm happy that you got this impression.
No, good stuff. So I guess kind of switching it again. So I think that the journey from what you've had, what we talked about before with a CISO and a CEO, and that specific journey there, I'd like to dig into kind of the specifics of what advice would you give to CISOs kind of wanting to go on their entrepreneurial journey.
In some cases, don't do it if you're not ready. Being a practitioner and technology leader, or even a C-level in one company, doesn't mean that doing this transaction is actually meet to what you want to do. So in some cases, it's create a lot of networking, a lot of mingling, and this is something that you need to plan. Not after you quit your job as a CISO and become a startup founder. This is something you need to plan and have this base amount of friends and network to have them ready to support you in the first months. So my first advice is get ready. Get ready from exactly what you have. The second is, if you're going into entrepreneurship, be an expert in this domain. I was a CISO for 20 years. If you are, and I was expert in enterprise security. Ziv, my co-founder, is one of the experts in Chromium open source. We were experts and experienced with the domain that we took and we built on top of it. So then you understand how the market landscape look like. Very good. If there are other solutions, if there was a solution, why they failed, and why other solutions succeed. So when you come to the market, you come with more confidence and you can understand what can be the obstacles about what you're having. So my second, let's say, tip is be an expert and experienced in the domain that you are now going. Security in a nutshell is a very big domain, but you must understand this subdomain that you are going to be an expert in, so you will choose and will avoid mistakes. Every founder do mistakes, and it's okay to do mistakes, but mistakes cost money and cost time. And if you are an expert in this domain, you can actually save time and money, and then you can, of course, raise less money and go to market faster. The third thing is, I think, is to create 360, I call it, network of friends that can give you a feedback about performance, that you can share with them these capabilities. It's good to have like entrepreneur or founders networks to be connected with. And I have these calls from friends of mine from different positions. Some of them are security experts, some of them are entrepreneurs, some of them are VCs, some of them are go-to-market experts, and they can give you some feedback about things you are doing and having them ready. And so these three stuff that, again, I think that ISO was good for us, and it was good for Surf, because I can give something for my CISO life. I like to present things in only 3 slides. Yeah. So in 3 slides, what you show as a CISO, I like to first show this is our, let's say, vulnerabilities. Like this is like our threat landscape. Second, this is our awareness. And third, this is our resources in order to tackle it. So when you put 3 things and you put a lot of data in 3 slides, that's some things that you as a CISO need to show. As an entrepreneur or as a CEO or as someone that's doing more business side, you also need to let's say, create some predictions or vision or where you want to take the company in. So this is a little bit of differentiation from, very numbers and figures that are very strict, data based on real data, how many clicks we're putting on phishing, etc., to something that, okay, we predict this number of clients, we predict this number of tools, and also, from code perspective, how we can actually deliver faster code, how we can actually perform better than existing browser. What we are giving that today the leading consumer browser cannot give. How we can do better performance for CIO. So we have a CIO dashboard in our tool that you can actually check performance like CPU, you can check latency, you can check a lot of things, and you can be proactive and be alerted. And this is something that we received from this kind of network and feedback that we receive from customers.
Yeah, no, I think it's really good advice, both all of the points as well. And I think you mentioned obviously about having the network, about having the real understanding within a space. But say you've got them two there. How do you go out and kind of locate investment and start that journey? Take me back right to the early days.
So right in the early days when we were just an idea, so I was approaching my friends, my CISO friends, and I tell them, what do you think about this idea? Would you like to try it for free? That was the first interactions we had. Before we approach VCs, before we approach anyone to give us validation, we wanted to hear from our friends that we trust them, and people that are expert in the field. What do you think about the idea? We think this idea is great, but we are biased. Yeah, totally biased. Every founder loves his startup. But how you can get this market validation, and you want to share it with people you trust, you don't want that the information will get outside. So this is the first people. It's usually you approach people you used to work together with, security expert, who that will be your potential customers. So if you take the ICP of any product, who is going to be, and then I'm looking on my LinkedIn list or my friend list or my Facebook list, and then I approach them, hey, I'm working on this idea, we'll be happy to get your feedback. And I'm happy to say that most of my friends were more than happy to give me a feedback, and they like the idea, most of them. And this is how we succeed to build like the set of basic features, the MVP, the beta. And only then, after we constructed some stuff and we had some traction, we were starting to approach VCs. And again, in this case, I had some very good friends that today the company are billion-dollar companies. And they just made me the introduction with the VC that invested in them. And I'm happy to say that we succeed to select the best VC out there. And they're helping us not just with money, but also from go-to-market and sales things.
Yeah, no, I love the journey. I always like to dig a little bit deeper into them types of stuff, because it's pretty unique sometimes. And going out to your friends, finding the product, going to then after building the product, getting all the kind of the everything going, yes, go and do it. Then you go and go to the VCs and get money. So I think it's awesome. I think the journey is really, really cool. I just want to dive into the actual enterprise market a little bit, enterprise browser market. So tell me more about the market. Tell me more about the space and where you guys want to go in the future.
So Gartner just wrote about this last week. Again, we cannot share. So the market of the enterprise browser today, I think it's less than 1% of the end user. This is what Gartner wrote. Less than 1% of the user are actually using enterprise browser to access company resource. But they think that in the future years, more than 25% of the access will die directly from the enterprise browser. So this is a market, I think, in the cybersecurity today that I'm very lucky to be in, because it's growing very fast. And it just makes sense to people. We used to have many tools. We used to have VPN, we used to have VDI, and the zero trust idea is just making things much more simple. Like, for example, I can access a file, and if you look on your download folder, you probably see a lot of files that have your private information. It can be your passport, it could be your payslips, and with the Surf, we actually encrypt everything you download, and you can open it only in the browser. So that's mean that if now you have a malware on the computer and you're trying to access this file, it will get out encrypted. So it's useless for the hackers. And that's just one of our basic function. We can also prevent user from downloading locally files or doing screen capture or doing copy and paste or doing any kind of viewing even of information. We can mask it. So for example, you're going into using Zendesk or NetSuite, and you're trying to access company resources, we can mask it on the fly. And we can understand using our technology if this information is company related or not. And based on this, we can actually apply the company policy. And we are learning this very fast. And we are doing everything on the endpoint. So nothing is sent to the company, nothing is sent to us. And I think that the focus was really on prevention, because again, as a CISO, I received millions of alerts a day in some cases. As much as the bigger the company, more and more alerts you have. And in Surf or security solution like what we built, I wanted to stop this alert fatigue. And to stop it, we just alert about things that we actually block, things that we actually suspect that these things were actually creating, let's say by mistake or not by mistake, accidental or not, like upload or information, or how we stop data leakage. So there is a lot of things to do. And in some cases, we can actually deliver a very strict, for example, solution, for example, phishing or employees credential stuffing. So we can actually, based on domain list, that we can understand automatically what are the domains that employees supposed to put the company credentials. We can actually restrict the employee to put his credentials, company credentials, just there. So then you actually preventing any phishing website to sniff or take the user information and use them in order to gain access to the company assets. And of course, because we are zero trust, even if the hacker have the username and password, he will still need to download Surf. Okay, so that's an additional factor in order to access company resources.
Yeah, no, I think honestly, I think it's awesome. I think the space has evolved over the past few years, and I'm really excited to watch you guys go and grow over the next couple of years as well. And shout out to Steve, he's absolutely awesome. So Moty, honestly, thank you so much for coming on the show. Thank you so much for diving into the details and all the information. And like I said, really good luck for you guys in the future as well.
Thank you very much, Elliott, and of course, very great to work with HubScale.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you very much. I'll speak to you soon.
Bye-bye.